Hi everyone, today we're going to be doing one of our final or close to our final tutorial for MYOB. We're going to be looking at tutorial 22 bank reconciliations. Reconciliation process is actually critical when it comes to bookkeeping. We're going to be using an example here of reconciling our bank statement. We've got a check account that we've set up that we've been spending money and receiving money from our suppliers and customers, and we're going to essentially reconcile that bank account to ensure that transactions that we've been entering into MYOB are accurate. The reconciliation process is actually critical because it's the only means of double checking that the transactions that we've been entering in, first of all, are accurate in terms of there's no data entry error. Secondly, it's also important that the debits and the credits, or the payments and the receipts, are correct as well. It will also pick up things like GST. So if you've incorrectly made something inclusive of GST rather than exclusive, then the amount's not going to be exact. It's going to be off by the 10%. It'll pick that up. It'll pick up transactions that haven't been entered, quite simply. So you may have a scenario where you've got direct debits set up with certain suppliers, even customers that may be paying, hitting the bank account. You may not have received a remittance slip stating that money has been made and monies have been transferred into your account, or you may have a scenario where monies have been taken out because you've got direct debit, such as your phone bills, for example, which is a typical one that we have set up here. And the reconciliation process is where you are identifying those monies that have hit your account that you haven't accounted for in your MYOB system. So it's quite important. And as I said, we're going to be using an example of reconciling our check account, but you can reconcile any other account as well. So, for example, a typical one would be you reconcile your petty cash account. You would definitely be reconciling your pay-as-you-go payroll accounts as well. And I'll just show you a quick reference of that now. So to go to reconciliations, you go to banking over here and you go to reconcile accounts. Now, in today's example, we're going to be going and reconciling our St. George Bank check account. But on top of that, when you are doing your payroll and paying your pay-as-you-go withholding tax, you'd also want to reconcile your pay-as-you-go withholding payable account as well, because you want to make sure that whatever has been withheld from our employees, the correct amounts have been submitted to the Australian Taxation Office. So I'm just giving you an example here. We've paid to two people, Mary and Alan, on the 19th. And as you can see, those payslips are here, and the amount of money that we have withheld are also here. So when we deposit the total amount, 165, to the ATO, it will come as a deposit, and we can then reconcile that. So that's just another example of reconciliations, or another example of reconciling. But as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be reconciling our check account. So we go over here, we select our check account. We're going to be reconciling up until today's date. So everything that we've been entering in MYOB as of today. So I'm going to put in today's date as to bank statement date. Now, typically the bank statement date is the last date on your bank statement. Now, if you have a look at the exercise that I've sent across, assignment 22, the second page, we've typed out or the third page, sorry, we've typed out a typical bank statement with all your debits and your credits, so all your monies that have gone in and come out of your account. So where you see week 2 on your bank statement exercise, that essentially refers to today's date. So bank statement date. Okay, I haven't put dates on the actual bank statement because everyone does the exercise. Everyone does the course at a different date, so that's why we've left that out. And this closing statement balance is also quite important. Now, the amount that goes here is our closing, or our balance of on our bank statement as of the end of our bank statement. So here, for example, we've got 103,773.13. So the whole process of reconciling is we're making sure that whatever we started with at the beginning, which is our calculated statement balance, so that's the balance that we started with, and the balance that we end with, once all that's been entered, once all these transactions tally up or are accurate, they will balance with the 103,773, and hence out of balance figure will be zero, and then we've reconciled. So that we're reconciling towards this 103,773 and 13 cents. That's the figure that we're reconciling towards. Hence, it's the closing balance on our bank statement. So essentially what we're doing is we're going through our bank statement. So for example, the first one here, Picture Perfect Printing, has been debited 1568.80 from our bank statement. And we'll find we're looking at what's been debited from our bank account, and we're matching that with our bank statement. And what I normally do is I normally use a ruler, go through it and put a tick in pencil in my bank statement once I've found the corresponding transaction in MYOB. Okay, and what you'll normally have on your bank statement is a running balance as well. Right, we don't have that in our bank statement, but typically you would. You'd have a running balance, and that running balance on your bank statement for each transaction should match this here. Okay, calculated statement balance. So I'm going to go to the next one. The next one is Hills Transport, $1,000. I'm looking for that. Hills Transport, $1,000. Here it is. So I'll put a tick next to that. Don't be too concerned about dates, because there's always a day or two difference when transactions clear. So the dates may not be exactly the same as what you have on your bank statement. So that's that one. Then we've got 48.50. There it is there. 188.75, 188.75 is here. That's not the one here. And then we've got 65.80, 450, 1077, 244.80, $280, 829, 600, 146. Okay, so 146 public liability insurance, I can't see it, right? So what's happened is our insurance company has debited our account for our insurance, right? So we haven't entered that into MYOB, which is what we need to do now. So I'm going to shortcut. If I go right click over here, I've got to enter transactions. All right, I'm going to put a spend money transaction in for public liability. So it opens up that account. Now I'm not going to worry about card because I don't have that information, but I'm going to put here public liability insurance. It was directly debited, so I'm going to put DD. I believe it was on last week, so let's go 10th of the 6th. The amount was $146, which goes here. And the allocation account will be insurance. It's an expense account, so I go here, I'm looking for insurance. Here we go, business insurance. And there's GST involved. Yes, there is. Record. I'm just going to cancel out a bit of screen. And what I'm going to do now is refresh this. I'm going to close it, go back into it, put in today's date. Okay, here it is. I've used last week's date, 10th, that's why it's appearing down here. That's okay. So that one's done. Then we've got Quiz Magazine 550, which is here. Then then I've got spotless cleaning, spotless catering for 700, which is that one there. And then I've got a petty cash reimbursement. Okay, so that's another transaction that we need to that we've missed, and we have to put that in. So we go right click now, we go to enter transactions, and this time around we're going to do journal, record journal entry. Now these steps are on your exercise as well, by the way. So I'm going to put a date in here. Let's go 1st of this month. And this is a reimbursement of a petty cash account. Petty cash. Now, the 301 came out of our bank statement. So I'm going to go check accounts. Because it came out, I'm going to credit the account. 301. Now, this is double entry accounting. It's an accounting rule. Not going to give it too much time right now. And then it's petty cash that we're reimbursing. So I'm going to put petty cash over here. Okay, so I'll record that. Now, if I've gone about this correct in terms of debits and credits, 1st of the 6th, where is it? Cash reimbursement, here it is. No, it's a credit withdrawal. Okay, I'm going to reverse that. So that didn't work out. So I'm going to now just click on the arrow, and I'm going to go back over to here, and I'm going to reverse the debits and credits. See why. Setup, preferences, security. I'm going to take the off that so it enables me to edit these transactions. Now I can come back over to here, hopefully. That still didn't work. Let me try again. Right, so I'm going to reverse this. So now the 301 was deposited, it came into our account. Reimbursement. In actual, I guess in reality, what I would normally do is I'd normally be taking petty cash out of our check account and putting it into our petty cash account. But for some reason, when they designed this exercise, it worked the other way around. Monies were taken out of our petty cash account and deposited into our check account. Hence the reason why I initially got it wrong. But that's fine. I've explained the differences. Then we've got car insurance, which is $250. It's a spend money transaction again. So I go right click, enter transaction, spend money. It's direct debit. We use the beginning of the month, 1st of the 6th. It is for $250. I'm not going to worry about the card. Car insurance. And I'm looking for car expenses over here. I can do two things. I can put it under car expenses if I've got an account for that, or I can put it under business insurance. I might just put under business insurance for the time being, because I know that that account is here. I did see it earlier. So here we go, motor vehicle insurance. That's going to be more appropriate. So that's good. So now if I go down to here, I should be able to see that car insurance. Yes, it is. I'll tick that. All right, so now we've got our credits. Okay. I'm going to backtrack because what I did initially with the petty cash was actually correct. I confused myself. So yeah, this is correct. Petty cash 301 is a withdrawal. It did come out of our account, so that was all good. Car insurance is there, good. Okay, so that's all good. That all lines up nicely now. Now I'm going to put my payments in. So I've got JRC payment, K&K payment, the amounts are correct. Snazzy Design payments, yes. Buy the chickens, yes. 971, yes. 2077, good. 979, yes. $150, yes. 1478, good. Then we've got a reversal, which is fine. I can see that, good. And now we've got our bank fees. Okay, so bank fees are very easy. If you just go bank entry over here, and we've got 3 different types of bank fees that have been taken out of our account. You can put them in. You can put them in individually one by one. So $10, $5, or $20. I'm just going to shortcut and just put a total amount in just to speed the process up. 20 plus 10 is 30. $35 is our total bank fees. I'm going to use today's date. We should have an expense account for bank fees. We do, and we've got bank fees here. And bank interest obviously goes in here. Okay, so obviously bank interest will be an income account. So record that. And then we've got our bank fees, which is automatically been ticked. Now, if I come back over to here and I put in that figure in once again, which is what I entered initially, which is 103,773 and 13 cents, you'll notice that that figure, closing balance, now tallies our figure in MYOB. So, for example, had I not put in bank fees, I'm going to be short by $35. All right, so hence it hasn't reconciled yet because the amount in our bank statement, so the amount calculated in MYOB 103,808 is actually different to the closing balance on our bank statement. But once we put in all the transactions and they tally, the debits and the credits are accurate, then you can see that the amount now calculated is the same as what's on our bank statement. Hence, out of balance is 0. So once that's done and all is accurate, then you obviously then go to reconcile over here. I always print a report. Why? Because if for some reason someone goes in or there's been someone mistakenly changes a transaction that has already been reconciled, okay, what's going to happen is that when you go to reconcile the next month, your opening balance is not going to be the same anymore because they've changed a transaction that has already been reconciled. So the only way you're going to be able to uncover and find out what's actually been changed is by looking at this report, right, and analyzing this report with the report that's in MYOB for the same period, and then you can see if there's any discrepancies, any changes in these transactions, and then you can pick up what's happened, what's occurred, and then you can go ahead and fix it. So if you didn't have this report on hand, it just makes the task so much more difficult, especially in that scenario where something has been changed that you've already reconciled. And so once you've printed that off, then it's just a matter of going in and reconciling. Now you'll probably notice here that there's 2 transactions that I haven't put a tick next to. So these checks 14 and 15 haven't yet cleared. So although we've entered them into MYOB as withdrawal, so we've made payment to these suppliers for these amounts, and we've issued these suppliers with these checks, they may not have banked it yet, or even if they've banked it, it may not have cleared from the bank. So the monies haven't yet come out of our bank account for us to reconcile, even though it was done last week. Okay, so you can't therefore tick them because if you do, it's not going to reconcile. But what happens is if once you reconcile it, all the transactions that have reconciled, okay, will be removed from your report, and these final 2 that haven't yet reconciled will remain. So when you receive your bank statement the next month, and the monies do have cleared, the dates obviously will be different because they will obviously clear a week or 2 after they were presented, right? But the amounts will be the same, obviously, and you can therefore go ahead and tick them because they will then appear in your bank statement. So that's the reason that occurs. So that's a quick rundown of bank reconciliations, and we will cover in our next tutorial our BAS statement reporting process. Reconciliation is quite important because you can't actually go ahead and do your BAS statement reporting until you're confident that your MYOB figures are correct and accurate. Hence, that's the reason the reconciliation forms part of that process.